How is everybody today? My name is Andrew Han. You can reach me at andrew@tradewithufos.com. You are joining us today at our Trade with UFOs Nailing FX US session. It is February the 25th and the final stretch of this month here. And it's going to be March. So time flies, doesn't it? And I guess February being normally a short month, it probably can't come too soon. For those of you who are still in the winter weather, it's been pretty cold in I know some parts of the States if you're from the States, and hopefully the weather is getting warmer for those of you who are in Europe. I'm out here in Singapore, and so it's always warm out here. We do have monsoon showers and all this sort of stuff. And actually, this time of the year is actually pretty nice out here. We do get the winds, and so it is a lot cooler than usual. So as we start, we do have our disclaimers here, which just please read through that as we're scrolling through the disclaimer up there. I'd just like to introduce you to our new website, as you can see is flashing up and around here. It's still at tradewithufos.com, and if you want to join us, our free membership, you can just /Andrew, and that will get you to our membership page where you can just join up for free. Then you'll get some emails and on the the resources that we have available, and I'll talk a little bit about that, as well as may just give you a quick look at our website, which you can later on go through yourself and check it out. But here are some of the highlights, though, just to kind of give you a big picture. In this website, we've got a new format for our newsletter. It's a 3D daily news flash, where we talk about we'll kind of show you some of the unfilled orders, the sell orders and the buy orders. We also talk about volatility. We also talk about trend. So that's the 3D nature of the markets, how we kind of view things. And we've got courses out there, so it's not just Forex that we're doing. We also do futures, stocks. We also look at back testing and trading plans. And coming soon, we will have options, cryptos, and mindset. So something to look forward there. And just to quickly take you to our website, if I can show you that before we get into the markets proper, trade with ufos.com. Ufos.com, right, Andrew. Okay, /Andrew, okay. Where that will bring you to. You can just click over. Okay, there's me. You can put your name here, your email address, tell us that you're not a robot, and just click there and they'll register you. And where that will take you to, if you just go to the website proper, what you'll get is emails every day for some of the 3D news flash that we do actually every day. And you have if you do sign up for our coaching, this is actually where you would come for accessing and viewing that coaching. Otherwise, you can view the sessions that we do on YouTube, which I'll also show you in a minute. But these are all the activities, also the events that we have scheduled for February, and in March. If you want to see what's going on in March, you just click on the calendar, and I'll bring you to all of those sessions that we do, which hasn't been. Oops, that's next year. We haven't planned next year yet. here we go. This is the one. Yes, what I wanted to do. And that will show you 1, 2, 3. There we go. All of our sessions for coming up in March. So here I am on FX Street. I am also, we also are broadcasting live through YouTube as well. So these are the various sessions that we do, okay? And also on options and futures with both Boyan and Jose and so forth. So I'll let you take a look at that. We also have courses where you can find out a page on courses where you can find out more information on those. Okay, so you can see the whole sort of list here. And for those courses that we're not offering yet, which is coming soon, you can waitlist yourself. Okay, so if you want to express your interest, no commitment there, just expressing your interest in that. That'll also be helpful for us because then we know, what sort of classes we could kind of schedule and fit people into. And then we have our coaching plans. Okay, so take a look at this when you have some time and just a little bit of advertising there. Okay, now let's get into things proper. First up, let's just look at the news. Here I am, up there right now. We do have coming up durable goods, and actually that's already come out already. But coming up tomorrow is the Swiss durable goods, and then next week is a new month, and therefore the important things that is going to be showing up is, of course, non-farm payrolls, the ADP number of the Wednesday prior to that Friday, and a lot of interest rate news for Australia coming out. And one of the things we will be looking at is the Aussie dollar, because that has been super duper strong, along with New Zealand. Really, all the commodity currencies have been pretty strong. But as per normal, right? The first week of the month is going to be pretty heavy, as we can see in terms of news. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, right? As we come into the first week of March, and of course, right, as we get into the middle of March, there's going to be the switchover times as well. So that's also just one thing to note as well, in terms of that change in daylight savings there. So okay, so let's see what's going on. If you haven't joined us before, there's going to be a couple of things that you will see. Let me show. This is part of our Trade with UFOs technology, our algorithms. Number one is going to be the auto climate. Auto climate, what that tells us is what essentially is the, kind of like the weather. Is it rainy or is it sunny? So at the moment for a dollar, it's a down sort of climate, and so we'll be looking for opportunities to sell. That's the action that we would want to take in an environment which is down. So that's what the red dots mean. Okay. If we have blue sapphire dots, which are solid, right, that would be where we'll be have a bias to look for buys, right, to go long, and so that is an up climate. Okay, so that's what in brief those colors mean. All right, and there is significance between, if I can just zoom up here a little bit. Okay, there is significance between those dots which are solid versus those which are small. Okay, but I won't go. But essentially, what that is that if you have a solid dot, it is a confirmed market climate down. Okay, if it's not, then it's not a confirmed down climate. All right, but we go through all of that in our courses. So if you join us in any of their courses, then you'll see that. Okay, so just on the dollar, what's been going on is, we had this strong move to the upside, reaching up to this 91.50 area, but then subsequently we were retracing, and looks like we're retracing all the way back down close to the lows, right? So it's kind of broke a prior low here, and so what is kind of being indicated here, right, is somewhat of a change in this, at least this intermediate trend here. So if I just do some zigzags, you know, initially when we had to move up, right, we had you know, an uptrend form, right? So we had that high broke here. Now we're moving down lower, and so it's a little bit concerning, right, that we do have, let me just, we have these prior lows being broken, right? And so at least on the intermediate basis, we are looking at some sort of further downward pressure, but we're not going to see a continuation of this overall downward move, right, until we break this low here. So just something to keep in mind, right, that that while we do have you know, this retracement going on here, it is potentially, right, you know, there's still an opportunity for the dollar to turn around at this point until we get this low taken care of down here. So with this strong move to the downside, okay, if I can just draw here, right, that downtrend, right, this downtrend is not a, you know, is not over, right, until we have these highs broken up here. So that's why it's important to also gain some perspective, right? If we want to just jump across to the weekly here, we can kind of see that in play a little bit better, right? So if I just draw some other zigzags here, right, from a weekly perspective, right, this is really just a little pullback, right? And it could continue down, but we're not going to see a continuation down unless we have the break of that that low. Okay, so we need to see a break of that low for continuation, right? Otherwise, this is still a bit of a retracement. This could be a leg down, but we need to see, right? We need to see that uh, that low broken. All right, because otherwise this could be a change in a potential change in trend, and who knows what could trigger that, right? Who knows what could trigger that? But it's always good to have the big picture in mind, right? Big picture in mind. But still very much a you know, a, a concern, right? Uh, if the overall trend is down and we're having confirmed down climates here, then we gotta have to have a downward bias, even though, right, even though prices is holding here. So we have to expect prices to continue to the downside, right? So let me just get rid of this so that it doesn't confuse us with too many lines. Okay, so next, I want to take a look at gold, because gold has been pretty pretty choppy as well. We've had that downward pressure in gold, and last time we met, we were at this point here last week, and this was the, you know, the expectations that we kind of drew out was either prices were going to go continue to the downside, or prices are going to jump up and potentially up to this area of unfilled orders at the top here, and with a, you know, potential you know, trading of this downward trend line, but we haven't seen that. We haven't seen enough buying pressure. So as you can see, the climate there, it kind of paused, you know, that downward move paused. but we didn't really get a lot of strong buying there to even get up to this to kind of test back up to 1833. So now we're seeing today a strong move to the downside. That's a pretty big daily bar that's forming there. We don't know how it's eventually going to work out. But one thing is for sure is gold looks like it's going to be moving a little lower at this point. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. Okay, and so where could gold head towards? Looks like it could head down to this area down here, and this is where the auto UFOs can be helpful. Okay, let me try. Let me just try on a lower time frame there. Okay, and there we go. This is what we see with the UFOs, right? It's showing us some red UFOs, and it's showing us some green or olive UFOs. So what do the brightly colored red lines mean? So what that means is that these are the areas that the algorithm has identified as where there are higher concentrations of unfilled sell orders. And if they're green, or olive, these are areas where there are concentrations of buy unfilled orders, right? And so because it's an algorithm, it's going to give you the same areas as it does me, unless you've calibrated your algorithm, okay? And how we calibrate things is through the inputs here. So the standard setting is 0.5, and you can, through your own back testing, calibrate that number as you see fit, right? To kind of get you the sensitivity that you want for generating the algorithm to generate these areas of unfilled orders, right? And if you have TradingView, you actually are able to do bar replay to do that back testing, right? But we go through a lot more in our back testing course on that one. So the price at the moment is moving into an area of olive green UFOs, and so why it's olive is because it's an area that has been uh, tested before, and so some of those unfilled orders have been used already. Whereas if it's this brighter green, it means that there has been no price that has touched that area. So as we just move backwards here, we can see that ever since that area of concentration of unfilled orders was formed, there's been no price retracement to that area. Whereas for this area here, right? Okay, there has been some up here, right? There's been retracement up here, and so that's why that area there is olive green. Okay, so if we do get prices absorbing, right? If there's a lot of selling that goes on and absorbs all of those buy UFOs, then we would see price move lower, and then that UFO would disappear. Okay, so the expectation is potentially for gold to go lower if it's able to break through this area here. So and because we are starting to look at we had a lot of selling, right? We had a lot of selling, a bit of a pause on the buying side, and a resumption of the selling. Then our bias overall, again, in alignment with the downtrend that we're seeing, right, would be to also look for those areas to sell, right? Okay, so So even if you are a technical trader, maybe use moving averages or maybe use other techniques, right? The auto UFO is coming pretty handy. Auto collect also comes in pretty handy to help confirm, those areas of interest where you may want to enter short, or use the buy UFOs as targets, right? And so it's pretty versatile in that regards, right? To use it with whatever sort of technique that you have to do your trading. And it's not just, as you can see here, not just for the currency markets, it also works on gold in this case, so if you trade futures, it can help you on that. Or even if it's just CFDs, for those of you who have access to CFDs, you could use the technology, the algorithm to do that assessment as well. Okay. So gold, overall is down, dollar has been down. Now, people always ask me, well, dollar is, shouldn't that be correlated, inversely correlated to gold? And well, sometimes you got to look at things and understand that correlations don't always uh, you know don't always exist, right, at all the time, right? The correlations do break. So this is one time where, yeah, dollar is going down and gold is going down. So then you have to ask the question, well, okay, where is, if people are selling dollar, well, where are they putting their money into, right? And so we know that euro, has is a big portion, right, of the dollar index. And so, naturally, we more than likely are going to see the euro, right, moving higher, which is what we've seen, right? So looking at euro, this is one scenario that we had to the downside for euro. Clearly, it has reversed to the upside, right? And so what we are looking at, right, is now a break of that that movement to the downside. We had that sort of a little bit of a sideways move, but now clearly we have a move to the upside here, right? So these areas where price had traded before, which had held, all of those sell orders in both of these cases has been utilized, right? And there's been a more overwhelming interest in buying euro, right? And so that's what has transpired here, right? And so now we have prices kind of pausing a little. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a retracement and then a continuation to the upside. So in this case, as you can see again, right, we saw the auto climate telling us, hey, we've got a lot of buying interest. We had a bit of a pause, a retracement down to an area where price paused and turned back to the upside. It exceeded this prior high, and therefore now we have an uptrend, and therefore we need to be looking for opportunities for buying, right? And so this is where, again, we can turn on our auto UFOs. It's going to identify this area here, right? And this area down here. Now, for it to retrace all the way back down here is pretty far. And so our focus is going to be here. Now, you may find that on this particular time frame, which is the 12-hour, and I can either go down to a 4-hour, right, to kind of refine that area where I want to be a buyer. Okay, and so again, very versatile if you are a swing trader, right? So maybe not a position trader where you're looking at the higher time frames. Maybe if you're a swing trader, you want to look at a 4-hour time frame and look for opportunities to get in there. And so if we do get a retracement down to this, say 121.46, right, 47, that is where you can prepare ahead of time your orders for entry, assuming that there's going to be a continuation to the upside of euro. Okay, so just stick with that trend, right? Stick with that trend. Uh, you know, the other thing that could happen could be, that price just continues up too, right? Is also, right, a possibility, right? And so we've got a couple of different scenarios that could play out, right? And that's kind of the cool thing about having, a couple of different methods for making your trading decision, because one way is retracement, right? You could get a retracement. So if you see prices retracing, then all right, this is where you could enter the market around this area as a swing trader. Or if you get if prices don't retrace and they break out of this level here, then you can do a breakout trade to the upside and also participate in the market, right? So this sort of forward planning, understanding what sort of, what's the climate, what sort of, what's the the interest of the market is it to buy or is it to sell, then you just kind of stick with it, right? I mean, let's not try and counter trend these trades. Let's just stick with either a retracement in the direction of the trend or a breakout trade, right? So kind of keep things simple in that regards. And that's going to be similar, like for Aussie here. Let me just turn these off for the moment, right? Nope, turn this one off. Okay. All right, same thing here. All right, we had, let's go back to daily, I think is where we were looking at things. So daily we had this pullback. This is really just a corrective move, and for it to continue in the trend, right? And so we saw a lot of buying going on here, and eventually we did see prices break to the upside. Again, one of the other scenarios was for prices to move lower, right? Before heading higher. But hey, look, the market does what it does, and it moved pretty strong to the upside kind of late last week, right? So again, it took out these highs. I believe this was probably an area of selling on a higher time frame, probably from before. So I think that's not relevant now. So I'm going to take these away now that we've talked about it. And what we can see here is this continuation, right, of this downward move here. Had a bit of a retracement, a pause, and then move to the upside, right? So again, are we going to, what do we have to do here? We're either, going to have to wait for a retracement, right? Or we are going to, assume that price is going to continue up to the upside, and so potentially we could do a breakout trade here. So that's also what you could have done here too, right? If you were back on this day, let me just back this up a day. Okay, let's see, is that there, right? So if you were here, right? Okay, so that you were here, right? You don't know what's going to happen. This looks like it could be some sort of reversal candle, right? In which case you could have, do a breakout trade above that high, or potentially you could even do a breakout reversal trade to the downside, right? And so while you're, potentially waiting for price to come down to this area, so let's check out if there are some UFOs around this area. Yes, there is. Okay, so there's a UFO right here. Okay, some unfilled orders here, right, this whole range. All right, so if you're trying to wait for prices to come back down here, I mean, that's also a valid scenario, right? Before it moves to the upside, okay? But if price is strong, it's not going to retrace, right? It's not going to retrace. And so you're not going to be able to participate, right, in a continuation of the move, right? So So you're going to have to, have a couple of different alternatives, right, to getting into your or participating in this move, right, of the Aussie dollar, right? And so what else could you do? If you're not, looking at things from this daily time frame, the swing trade, right? Could there be some opportunities, on the 4 hour to kind of get into things? And there we go, right? You could have gone in, right? Maybe not at a breakout trade here, but you could have done, gone long in some sort of retracement trade here, okay? So that could have been what you could have done there, right? And it would have just tagged you in, right? You can just see that. Okay, and so if you'd done that, then if we just play it forward, right, you can see how prices has now moved up to the upside, and now I've got this twin tops here, and so are we having some selling, some selling pressure coming in? Maybe, right? We'll see. Okay, so if you, let's say that you're an intraday trader though, so then maybe what you would do is go down to maybe an hourly time frame or a 15-minute time frame. Okay, so if we went down to an hourly time frame, and to let's get back to that day before. Okay, I want to go here. Okay, and let's just take a look again at a lower time frame, right? Where would those UFOs have shown you? So again, here they're kind of stacked on top of each other, right? So if you had, even from an intraday perspective, gone down to this 1 hour sort of level, right? You could have done that, or really intraday on a 15-minute basis. Again, you would have probably gone a little more refined in terms of identifying your risk, right? And probably over here, right? Right, so if you kind of give yourself a little bit of space there, all the way down here, or even if you position sized, right? So that kind of keep your dollar risk, what it is, but then your entry and your stops are, taking into account, something a little bit more generous, right? Then you could have done that as well, right? So the trade with UFOs, auto UFOs algorithm is pretty versatile. Whichever sort of style that you have, whichever time frame that you have, and of course, if you're using custom time frames, then within TradingView, it'll also do that as well, right? It'll also enable you to calculate, right? The algorithm will calculate based on that. So let's say you've got, uh, 21 minutes, right? 21 minutes. Okay, if I change that interval, right? It will recalculate based on that interval, and of course, it's going to aggregate that information differently, right? But of course, it's based on your own back testing and your, what you're comfortable with. And so in this case, you probably would have missed this trade, right? Because it came down to go down far enough based on the algorithm, right? And based on your time frame of 21, right? But that's what it is. That's what you would have, back tested, right? Now, to actually formulate that. Now, let's see if we could, just curious to see if we're going to calculate something out here. Okay, it's going to be at that level there. I think this is going to be a little high. It looks like it's going to stop out. But this would be some of the back testing type of things that you would need to do, right? And which in the back testing course, we kind of cover some of these techniques, right? On and tools for how you can test your stuff. So you can see here, okay, you would have gotten probably a 1-to-1 almost, but then you would have got to stopped out. It kind of went down to this level down here, and so it would be the only thing there is if you did have a little bit of wiggle room, then you would have been able to get into that trade. But if not, hey, that's just what it is. So let me just stop that there. Okay. All right. So Aussie looks like it's been pretty strong, and maybe we get a bit of a pause, but it has been very strong, right? So we don't want to ignore that fact, right? Okay. Same with the New Zealand dollar. All right, so when we had looked at it previously, it was just basing, right? It was just doing a lot of basing, and then finally it continued to the upside, right? So we were wanting, right, to get into a trade, with the price retracing down there. But as I kind of said before, right? I mean, prices, don't need to retrace, and so do you have other techniques, right, to get into your trades? And so in this case, if you had done a breakout trade to the upside, then you would have you would have been all good, right, in the continuation of this uptrend, right? And so that's what happened to New Zealand dollar. Euro we talked about before. There's kind of the two scenarios now. And here we have on the pound, and pound, right? It's just been going up and up and up, right? And so you can't, you can't really go against the trend in a lot of these currencies. It's best just to, even though it's going higher and higher, you're better off, right? Just keeping with that expectation, and so maybe you have to use trend lines. Maybe you have to use some other, moving average technique, right? To get into trades. Maybe you need to go to a lower time frame, right? So there are many different ways, right? Especially if prices are just powering on like this, you may need to go to a lower time frame, set out your trend lines, right? And identify those areas that when price retraces to there, that you just get in at, right? So it's going to manage your risk there, but in terms of expectations, right? You just got to keep it, in direction of that trend is really the best way to go, right? So that's the majors there. We talked about gold. Dollar index is what it is. US dollar CAD, again, the same sort of thing, right? I mean, we've broken these lows. Okay, let me just go back to the daily. Is probably the best. All right, we're in this downtrend here. All right, prices are just continuing to zigzag lower. So you can't, you know, you can't fight these trends. In the currencies a lot of the times, because you're dealing with, governments here, right? Central banks, you're dealing with business, they're transacting in currencies all the time, right? So they will move price where they want to move it, right? Okay, so essentially what I think we're saying is look, commodity currencies have been pretty strong, right? In versus the dollar. And so, keeping that in mind, as long as those trends continue higher, in this case lower, you just got to stick with it. Euro has, had been a little lackluster until the last few days, or in particular today, where we had that strong move to the upside. And so again, it's either you respect that move to the upside, or you got to look for some opportunity for it to reverse. But we're not seeing any UFOs up until this area here, 2265. So until then, you don't want to fight that trend, right? You use this as a target, use it as a target. All right. So that's all I have for you all today, right? And once again, just go back to tradewithufos/Andrew if you're interested in joining, right? Just join, put your email, your name, your email, and tell us you're not a robot, and join us, okay? And join us, and you'll learn more about our technology. From the website, the auto UFOs and also auto climates. As you can see, it's pretty versatile type of technology, and the different sort of courses out there that we have. Feel free to browse that. And one last thing before I go, let's just get to YouTube. Let's see here. Whoa. Let's see what we got here. Trade with UFOs. UFOs. There we go. And in terms of the playlists, one thing this is new, the 3D Daily News Flash. Becky and Boyan do that every day. Gives you a bit of a brief on the market, and then also a ton of different videos out here that we have, from futures to options, also the Forex and everything, sharpening, weekend, yes. There's all sorts of stuff out there. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. If you don't have any questions for me, then I'll leave it at that. Otherwise, yeah, feel free to email me at andrew@tradective.com, and I'll just that back up here. Okay, just in case you want to write that down. And we will see you in March. Okay, so have a good week ahead, or weekend ahead. Okay, thank you. Take care.